They were too quick. We already see the bans in the first round already have been flown through. MF going to be grabbed up. Aphelios off the table, Senna off the table, so that is kind of the big three that we've been seeing a lot of. I will be interested to see where Kabe does take us. In some of the other regions, we're starting to see more Ashe. We're starting to see some things like Kalista that has shown up a little bit in NA as well. So I do think there are some different options depending on what TSM is going to be looking for here with their bottom lane. Xayah Rakan, another big one. And with the Xayah lock-in, very likely we'll just kind of grab up that Rakan if they're worried at all about stun taking it away. And he is a Rakan player. But sometimes people are comfortable giving away that Rakan if they don't feel like it works well with the bot laner that has already been locked in.
Absolutely. You could get a Braum in here if you wanted to stop the bullet time. But the Rakan is
now.
Such a great synergy. And yeah, you could be right on that with the engage coming through. Why not offer a little engage of your own from the side of 100 Thieves? The option for support here, and also another pick for Ryoma to final out their phase 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Leona is very good into the Xayah Rakan matchup. It also pairs well with Misfortune, gives you some strong engage and lockdown with the ultimate, but they are going to go for Nautilus. A little bit of a more, I think, consistent approach here. You know, obviously the ultimate, not a skill shot. It is kind of easier to reliably have that engage. That being said, I don't think the matchup is as dominant as it is with Leona. But you still can pull off similar things. Nautilus locking down a target, especially at level 6. Hook into ult, into root, all for that bullet time coming out from MF. So you're looking to set up these really big combos.
Kennen getting locked in. Loving this. Always like to see Kennen go into a lane. It's super hard if he falls behind, but you can always make some plays if you get in there and get the ultimate down with the flash.
Yeah, and it's really strong early lane against Aatrox, right? And against most melee champions, Kennen should be having priority up in that top lane. I also like the fact that Kennen is not the primary engage. Kennen works much better as a follow-up.
Yeah.
So you have a Rakan for that initial engage, then Kennen flies in over top with that Maelstrom, with that ultimate, trying to slice people up. But doesn't work nearly as well when the primary engage is kind of on his shoulders.
Yeah, it does make hard for Cody-san to stand still doing a bullet time, too. I'm excited to see once we get to that fight phase and these lanes break out, what happens. So see the Elise and the jungler starting to get hit up in the second phase of bans here. Olaf still standing tall in the jungle. You still have all the mid laners as well, and Syndra, Zoe, and everything you would have. TSM running the clock down.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see, you know, a physical damage jungler coming out here from TSM. You know, with actually the ban of Trundle, though, that makes me think they want Sejuani. So I'm going to be interested to see if 100 Thieves is actually going to ban Sejuani as a response to this. But that does kind of lead you to believe that they're going for a tank. Trundle traditionally considered very strong into the tanks, not as good into some of those pure damage junglers, where he doesn't really kind of have the same amount of stats to steal. So now the question is, are they worried about it? They are. So they are going to have that response ban there. But then I think, you know, if you're TSM here, you can just still go something like Olaf, like Lee Sin. I think Lee Sin could fit quite well if they do want to go. But this is actually pretty interesting. So
always go back to the Pantheon.
So blinding your mid laner here tells me that they have a very conditional jungle pick, that they're looking for something that is, you know, more atypical. Almost always you will see TSM and really most pro teams save their solo pick for last to get that advantageous solo lane matchup, right? Saving your jungle pick for last here tells me that Dardoch has something a little bit spicy, but it is dependent upon what comp his opponents are running, right? He needs to make sure that he has the proper matchup with the proper champions on the other side to be able to pull it off. So we'll find out if we're going to get anything too crazy or if the champions will kind of deny that preemptively.
I wonder. You have Scat of the Week. It's not great. I'm thinking if he pulls out the Kindred here to do a bit more damage, but they may need something else to get into the fight.
It's got to be AD, right? Because you have two AP solo laners, unless you're going to go AD Kennen, which I don't think is great. I mean, Lee Sin is obvious. If they go
Dark Harvest Echo,
that would be pretty surprising. It might signify that it is going to be AD Kennen. This would be one of those conditional picks, but it is just going to be the Lee Sin. So very interesting. My guess is that he had another pick that he was hoping he could get in. They don't feel that the comp suits it, so they're going back to what is standard. Because otherwise, it really makes no sense that you wouldn't have just kind of, you know, grabbed the Lee earlier and saved counter pick for last, unless you feel that Syndra is so contested that you need to grab it up before Ryoma can.
Would you not take Olaf into this composition?
Yeah, I mean, that's another option you definitely could go for.
Yep.
You know, going up against Gragas, that is a really strong jungle matchup for the Olaf. I do think that there's a lot more playmaking, obviously, with that Lee Sin. And having the displacement, especially against someone like Misfortune, who is fairly low mobility, can be pretty critical. So, you know, maybe just anticipating the engage comes through from Biofrost and Broken Blade, Dardoch being able to kind of dive in the back line, access that, and also pressure, I think, very heavily for top end jungle 2v2. So a little bit more playmaking, and Dardoch has looked great on Lee Sin, so we'll see what he's going to be able to get done for us here.
Well, Azale, we're about to get into games as the coaches will shake hands and leave their players with the last words of wisdom. Both 100 Thieves and TSM are on a bit of a slide here. 0-3. The last 3 games for 100 Thieves, 0-2 for TSM, looking to pick up this first Week 5 win to stop that slide on both sides. Who's it going to be from? Gragas versus Lee Sin in the jungle. Both of those junglers going to be trying to make plays. We see a lot of action around Someday and Ryoma, and as well, respectively, on the other side between Broken Blade
in the crowd?
and Bjergsen.
The set alt main poster. All right. We are heading into game, but there is unfortunately a quick pause. So, but the ready checks are already coming out. I already see players typing that in, so hopefully it means we're going to be getting right back to it, and it wasn't a big issue. But this is 2 very interesting compositions here that we have seen drafted. Kennen, not something that we've seen a lot of thus far in the LCS this year, but it is always something that is really popular as a high elo pick. It is considered very good early matchup into a lot of these melee champions. Someday one of the most feared top laners in the league, you know, and this should give TSM prio around that top side, you know, pretty good jungle matchup.
Yep.
Mid lane, I would say, is very skill-based. So, you know, TSM is going to have, I think, a lot of opportunities to get things done early on, and they're going to have to play a little bit careful, I think, once Meteos does get towards, you know, higher levels, once he is 6.
And we have Avli standing by with Zix for a few of those words of wisdom we were talking about.
Oh, it's fine. Thanks, guys. I have Zix with me right now. One of the things I wanted to ask you about was a quote that you had during this week's 100 Thieves heist. You had said that you really wanted the focus for the week to be around stopping making kind of like selfish plays and to really focus on playing as a team. So what can you tell me about the progress and maybe this invade?
About the invade?
No, the invade's over.
It was really Monka, but I mean, overall, like our progress this week in our practice, I think was really, really good. We focused a lot on like just being way more aggressive. I think last week's games were definitely like a passive set of games from us. So we wanted to make sure that we definitely changed that this week. So that's definitely like where our mindset's at. And we're just looking to play a much more aggressive game overall.
Yeah, well, it looks like TSM was the one who pulled back the aggression really fast. What do you think of them as an opponent and hopefully trying to break this loss streak?
So, I mean, obviously they're my former team. So, I mean, we want to win 100%. But, I mean, at the end of the day, like the most important thing to me is just that we're making the improvements day to day and that overall we play an aggressive game this game.
Well, thank you so much and best of luck. Back to you guys.
That gives us something easy to track, right? You know, if you're judging your success in this game on how aggressive your team is going to play, how proactive they can be, that is something that, you know, Zix will be watching and that we can be watching too here as Ryoma with a very good early trade, you know, avoiding Bjergsen's ability there, being able to just kind of win out on the auto attack trade. And he is playing Corrupting Potion, so he'll have the additional sustain to help him out. Dardoch starting red will be spotted, and you can see this call start with Conqueror for Broken Blade. This is kind of one of the new age builds that I have been seeing actually quite a bit of on Kennen. Traditionally in the past, you would say, oh, it probably means he's going AD. I have most often been seeing this with more of a hybrid build where people actually go Gunblade for a lane and then transition into more of just a standard AP style of build. So that is what I am expecting and not just kind of like a straight up, you know, on hit full AD build, but we'll have to see where Broken Blade does take us. And this call, you know, is something that does make you more vulnerable to early lane ganks, right? You know, you are not going to have the bonus HP on a Doran's item. It is obviously pretty nice as far as scaling if you can cash that in, but he will have to be a little bit more careful potentially about a Gragas gank or anything like that because you don't have that buffer of health from
For sure, Kennen players always have to be careful. Your lightning rush is up. You can use it to get away. Using that aggressively means you know you have the all-in and you're going to be able to get out for a second fight. Use that in lane and you're usually dead. Nice little back and forth with the battle dance and grand entrance here from Biofrost to get some damage down as they trade supports back and forth. Or support damage, I should say. And nothing too aggressive otherwise. Battlefrost does have Ignite to the exhaust of Stunt, so they're obviously looking to fizzle out what happens in this fight, but also look to shut down Bjergsen a bit with that later too, and whoever might be diving in.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, right? Because I think it is much more about the later stages of the game than it is about that laning phase. Ignite, almost always, it feels like wins out in lane as far as having those all-ins. But, you know, against something like an AP Kennen, that's such an easy target to actually apply the exhaust to. He has to come towards you to get that damage down. And it's very, very obvious when his damage is going to be popped out, when that ultimate comes through, get the exhaust down. If Syndra flashes for it, get the exhaust down. These are some critical targets. Even at least Sin can be pretty effective, but here they go on that bottom side.
Body slam in, follow-up damage, but the fight's not going to be able to go all the way through here for 100 Thieves onto TSM's bot lane. Kabe gets out of this one with just a chunk of health taken away. He should be able to heal back up, but both junglers are now going to be on the bottom side. Let's see if they can find each other.
Yeah, Dardoch was spotted walking through mid lane there and now sees Meteos here. This would be a little bit of a dicey invade to go for if he wants to actually go over the wall because the 100 Thieves bottom side could collapse more quickly. As a result, Dardoch just going to head back towards his jungle, likely get a buy off at this point, but TSM feeling pretty comfortable on this bottom lane despite an early gank from Meteos.
You can see why Meteos is down here. You look at Cody's son's kill participation stats, 73% kill participation for this guy on the team. He is usually involved in a lot of the action that's going down, and here we see even the start of the game, almost to the bot lane for Cody's son.
You know, already, I talked about this mid lane matchup as a skill-based matchup, and I do believe it is, but there were some good trades coming out from Ryoma, but he just seems to be struggling to actually keep up with both the farm while harassing, and this advantage has been opened up. There's actually more minions left for Bjergsen to collect as they were pushing towards him. So Bjergsen was able to get off that earlier recall, get his item buy off, and already have, a 10 CS or so advantage. So really well played by Bjergsen in these early stages, and top lane, kind of as expected, will be going slightly in the favor of this Kennen. So TSM, getting more out of this early game, and going to be able to see if they can kind of continue that.
Another engage onto that bot side of the map. Going low is Biofrost as he gets back with the battle dance, and now the damage is going to be onto Stunt. That's going to be first blood coming through. Nicely done by Biofrost to lock that one down. Kill secured.
Yeah, that sucks for Biofrost. He was actually trying to give that away. He was walking away from it. The Ignite took it. They were trying to donate that over to Kabe, I do believe. Dardoch just there in case Stunt tried to be a little bit sneaky and flash out or anything like that. But that was actually TSM catching 100 Thieves on a recall. So TSM had wave pressure. They pushed in, and then as a result, 100 Thieves wanted to fully reset the wave before they went back to base.
Yep.
Instead, they weren't able to do it quickly enough, so TSM comes back with the initial items already purchased, with Dardoch down on that bottom side, and they know we're way stronger. We can force a fight immediately, so they're able to get that kill, force out multiple summoners from the other side. Cody's son now without flash is in a dangerous position. Dardoch is going to be 6 before he has his flashback, and it's a great start for TSM, and it does feel like they have control in all 3 of the lanes, right? That is preferential base timings that we saw from Bjergsen in the mid lane, from the bottom lane resulting in a kill, and top lane is still ahead in farm.
We're seeing him now say 100 Thieves is thinking, well, TSM's going to back to get a few of those items off the kills, try to get vision on Dragon, but TSM knows they are more powerful as they come back in, easily able to wipe that vision out right away. And 100 Thieves does not get kind of a pick or a fight that they're looking for. So slowly played and getting a little bit of an advantage here by TSM in the early part of the game on bot side.
Yeah, thankfully for them, though, the kill did go over to Biofrost, so
This is true.
Not the biggest of deals there. And Cody's son, because they stayed around longer, was able to get a BF sword. So he has a good buy for himself, not too devastating by any means, but TSM can be happy with these early stages of the game. And checking in here on Broken Blade, he did grab Cutlass first. Again, this doesn't necessarily mean he is going toward Blade the Rune King. It still can be Gunblade. Yep. But the jury out on that a little bit, as he is kind of still staying to a full AD purchase thus far.
Yeah. Let's begin a little more aggressive in that lane. It was quite a lead for Broken Blade, had to back off. And now we see topside Someday starting to inch back in, and where that CS was down 15-20 before. 7.5 minutes, Meteos here is going to find Dardoch in the jungle, so they have an idea of what's going on the bot side.
Yeah.
See if we can get a push here. Priority is for 100 Thieves, so it's hard for Kabe and Biofrost to leave the turret onto the mid lane. Ryoma almost goes down. The right hit's coming from Bjergsen as he knows which one is the clone and which one is Ryoma. Now a fight over towards the blue, and it was the pressure here for 100 Thieves. It's going to kind of flow into TSM's jungle. It pays off, but they don't come up with a kill on that.
Yeah, they've got to retreat as Bjergsen comes up with the solo kill on Ryoma. Absolutely dominating start there for the TSM mid laner, but Broken Blade in trouble.
Comes tough. As soon as you can't take down your opponent with those first few spells, they are going to come back at you, and the Aatrox is not afraid of the cannon anymore, as Someday pushes Broken Blade right under his turret.
Yeah, Someday thought he had him. He could have just taken the flash and backed off.
Yep.
Felt like he had enough in the tank there to chase down his opponent, but I believe the CDR, the cooldown too long on the E, and he has no CDR, so he didn't actually have that dash coming back up for that third Q, and that was really what he was hoping for. Either way, though, pretty early swing in this matchup for Someday. Credit to him to be able to already be pressuring Kennen out in what should be a Kennen-favored matchup still at this point.
Absolutely, just taking shurikens the whole lane as he walks around minions, auto-attacks you from everywhere. Doesn't get into Someday's head. He's able to go against Broken Blade pretty well in the Aatrox v Kennen matchup. 34 on the call still for Broken Blade as he's able to walk back to lane. TP play is still there after everything happens.
And this does really kind of call some attention potentially up to that top side, right? When both junglers have flash and both top laners do not, that can be the potential for some pretty powerful ganks, right? Body slam flash, kick flash. Both these junglers are playmakers, and if they can get up to that top side, you could maybe convert on a kill. But for now, the target really is this Infernal, and TSM has priority on that bottom side. You can see multiple members actually from 100 Thieves are up on the top side of the map playing around this Rift Herald, so it's going to be potentially a trade. But TSM could actually just leave one or two people to finish this off and try to go contest, and the pings are actually coming out towards the Rift. So TSM is moving up here, and Rift Herald takes a long time to kill, so there's no guarantee the 100 Thieves will have it in time, but with 4 members, looks like they should.
Easy peasy. Grabbed up, even with the vision there. They want Meteos. Quickness is on, and they may be able to drop him towards the top side here. Cannot get a body slam over the wall, and that's another kill to Biofrost.
Yeah, some good patience though from Biofrost, hanging around. He didn't want to engage too early. He waited till everyone was in position from his team, and they do get the dragon. It is traded for that Rift Herald. Thankfully, Meteos picked it up before going down, but still, the immediate gold is going to go more in TSM's favor, and it's going to be up to 100 Thieves to get a good Rift Herald play to try to get a little bit of equilibrium out of this last couple minutes.
And looking at these two top laners here, checking out their stats, gold difference at 10. Broken Blade is actually #1 at plus 256 gold difference at 10. Someday is minus 118. That's 10th place for gold difference at 10 for top laners. So you're kind of looking at what impact he still has, even if he isn't getting all that gold, even if he isn't getting all that resources. It's a slight discrepancy, but it doesn't matter if he's a little bit behind. You are still getting full power Someday. It's awesome to see from him and his play.
Yeah, Someday is one of the most respected top laners in the league, and has been around for so long. Competitive play. He's a smart player. I think traditionally known as a guy who can create a lot of his own leads, but sometimes has trouble kind of snowballing that into a victory. We can see up here on that top side though, 100 Thieves making their Rift Herald play. Gonna be able to grab this first tower. Know how they actually knock down the plates just to those last two as the armored MR creases on that turret. And then Rift Herald dealing true damage will always punch through 2 turret plates, whether they're the last 2 or the first 2. So kind of maximizing the damage there. And they do get first turret on the play. TSM did not elect to match. The advantage here, though, for TSM is that all of this gold is funneled directly into Kabe. Whereas the turret gold on the top side was split amongst 4 members from 100 Thieves. And just the way that kind of item scaling in League of Legends works is that, when you do complete an item, it's worth more than the sum of the parts. So generally, just along those lines, it's better have all the gold on one player as long as it is a scaling champion like the Xayah. So yes, 100 Thieves got more gold out of it, but TSM got that gold where they would like it.
See the positioning now being in order. Hype for games. That's exactly what we like to hear. Brambles up.
If you ain't first, you're last, Riv. CLG knows that.
That's true. And Cloud9 also knows that as well. 0-3 for this, or 3-0, I should say, in this one. TSM looking to possibly save our Broken Blade on the top side. He's going to go down. They won't be able to get too much on the other side of the map as the team is really getting back from a purchase here. And good moves by 100 Thieves. TSM's idea as, 100 Thieves' idea, as we heard, be aggressive with this composition and continue to do that throughout the game. And it looks like they're able to start to put that into motion.
Yeah, and that's exactly the play I was calling for earlier. When you trade flash for flash, you have the exact flash timer of your opponent. Someday's just about to come down now, so he knew Broken Blade didn't have it. He knew Meteos has his flash available. Body slam flash, easy setup for that. And it is going to be the Gunblade build as expected here from Broken Blade. As you can see, he does have that Hex Tech Revolver in there now. And probably after he picks up one more wave or so, he'll cash out the call, can actually look towards that completion. The next dragon coming up will be that Cloud Dragon, meaning we will either have the Mountain or the Ocean Rift. Ocean, kind of that key soul that most people look towards as the strongest one. So, you know, if you see that coming up, you can definitely expect the two teams to be fighting really, really heavily over it. TSM. As almost everyone thinks it's GG when you lose it.
TSM could love a Mountain here, especially with Ryoma flying over the wall. But like you said, Ocean, it's always great. Even if Ryoma does hit you over the wall, you just wait a few more seconds and you get that HP back.
Especially, you know, for champions like Aatrox, right? There are some champions that get even more out of it. Your ultimate actually amps the healing you do get, which does affect Ocean's Soul. You can build into things like Death Dance and Spirit Visage. That is amping that healing even more, so it can get to pretty ridiculous levels where the Aatrox can kind of just run in 1v5, but Dardoch here may be caught on the bottom side.
Death Dance becomes such a game changer. A nice safeguard out of that one, as they see they are the prey to the predator of Meteos as he comes out of the jungle. And he will walk back to safety there. So 100 Thieves looking for a few hits here and there. Dardoch was almost the prey on that one, but they move back up towards the top side of the river, and they're going to start clearing out a bit of vision. Stunt doesn't feel safe to do this just yet. They'll leave it to the autos of Ryoma.
So you can see these two different schools of thought. TSM is actually just continuing to push on that top side. They have Broken Blade up there with the teleport. 100 Thieves move Someday down to help them get vision. Unfortunately, because the timing wasn't exactly right there, Someday now is having to run up to top side. Broken Blade is going to be the one making his move, and TSM has vision around this dragon. So they've just got more from the setup than their opponents, because now it's going to be Someday who has to utilize his teleport while Broken Blade has already arrived.
Really nicely done to switch the map around. That's going to be Drake over to the side of TSM. And it looks like it will be Ocean that changes the rift on this one. So a lot of fighting going on for that neutral objective on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, we can definitely expect that. Generally speaking, teams are pretty okay giving up 2 dragons. Usually they want to contest at that third, because if you give up 3, yes, you need the 4th for soul, but one wrong fight, one 50-50, one pick can mean the end of the game. So traditionally you see teams start to contest at that 3rd dragon. We'll see if 100 Thieves does want to look for that, or if they're going to hold off towards Soul Point. But they were willing to give that one over. TSM had the better setup. They didn't want to try to force in from a disadvantageous angle and just get wiped, because that probably would be GG. So in respect 100 Thieves' decision to just hold that back. But, you know, as far as kind of tracking what Zix had talked about, you know, he wanted aggressive play. And so far, we really haven't seen much of that besides Someday kind of individually getting a little bit aggressive on that top side. Has been a largely passive game from 100 Thieves, and that's kind of as a result of most of their lanes just losing.
Yeah, a lot of what 100 Thieves tried in the beginning, Meteos towards the bot side, they didn't get Kabe right away. Instantly aggressed on with the Ignite Biofrost lane. And we saw that come into a kill for him. A second one later as they were in the top side river. 3-1 as we've had a few fights and only a couple of those resulting in the kills. Still pretty even in gold here. Looks like TSM does have a bit better of an idea of how the map is going to work out here over the next few minutes, though, as they just set up and kind of wait for 100 Thieves to move out of position.
Yeah, I mean, I think both teams are feeling pretty comfortable in their spot in the game. You know, they know it's fairly close. TSM looking towards stacking dragons. 100 Thieves probably depending more on their actual team fight execution. When you look at a comp like this, you know, a lot of it is kind of about, can you get that Misfortune ultimate, you know, alongside a really good engage from Stunt and Meteos. Someday comes in and starts getting resets. You know, it's kind of about that first initial kill. That was a nice try from Meteos. So Meteos was hoping he could actually knock him back towards the middle lane for Stunt. But Kabe just tucking himself in around that corridor means the ultimate will just bonk him back into the wall instead of actually kind of creating that
would have
distance.
been pretty awesome.
So good positioning from Kabe, credit to him, and it's just a trade of towers across the map as both teams just pretty happy to kind of just continue scaling this up and play it a little bit slow. It feels like at this point, we won't really get another fight until this next dragon unless someone sees a big opportunity for a pick.
Bjergsen looking at the third play on Syndra for this spring split. 6-0-3 versus Dignitas, and looking at a 2-0-7 versus CLG. So he is unkillable on this so far in the spring split. He's still undead on this one too, or deathless.
Yeah, Bjergsen,
undead doesn't work.
You know, getting that solo kill, something you haven't seen a lot of in the mid lane. You know, they talked about it a little bit on the desk, but mid lane has been more about utilizing your advantage to get priority and then go elsewhere, right? Because this season feels like it's so much about the objectives, going to Rift Herald, going to Dragons, creating advantages in that area. So, you know, the difference in farm between players, you know, the top league and the bottom league is not actually that big, right? It's only a difference of under 5 from top to bottom, but Ryoma getting caught out.
Bjergsen trying to make plays right here with Biofrost. The quickness goes out. They get the entrance in, and the exit is the kill with Bjergsen. Beautifully done there. I did have to flash forward to get that, but they get Ryoma's flash as well.
Yeah, trade back and forth. We'll see if 100 Thieves want to dive on this. Would be risky with Broken Blade sitting behind him, but look at the damage coming out from Meteos. He has double Spell Pen plus the Runic Echoes completed. That one barrel did about 40% of Kabe's health, so you know, Meteos is easily strong enough at this point with a full combo to potentially 100-0 someone like Bjergsen on this Syndra, who is going to be flashless for the next potential Dragon fight. So we'll see if 100 Thieves wants to try to utilize that summoner disadvantage there and kind of try to punish Bjergsen, but for now, everyone's setting up around this dragon. Bjergsen just kept pushing, and he's going to be rewarded with a tier 2 tower.
This is TSM days of old. Bjergsen just hanging on the side lane. Nobody can touch him. I mean, we see this a few times when he does have a good advantage on his mid lane champion, but it seems like teams are always grouping for the fights a bit more. Here, they are keeping that win condition steady, and they're just holding 3 in mid. A bit of a rotation from Broken Blade when he needs to go back and forth, and Bjergsen can pretty much take any fight.
Again?
And he's about to. Does he know which one is the right one? He does once again, and thwarts Ryoma with the kill. There it goes from Ignite.
Second solo kill of the game from the Burger King onto Ryoma. Happy birthday, Bjergsen. Was his birthday yesterday. He's looking for the pop-off game to celebrate, and Ryoma on the receiving end of that gets killed again before the base. Bjergsen going back to base here, has enough gold for that large rod. The dragon is now spawning, so it's all about the setup. Ryoma not going to be there for the team, so if Bjergsen just charges straight to that dragon, TSM should be able to have numbers advantage to move in, get set up, and potentially just push 100 Thieves out.
Looks like they're all already towards the top side. They're going to get funneled through into their own jungle, and again, TSM are just able to use power and numbers to take objective area back.
And look at Broken Blade playing around this side. He wants that avenue open for a potential flank if 100 Thieves committed too far forward, so he's actually going to commit the lightning rush. He's trying to get around behind.
Coming through the pit, Dragon's aggroed onto him, but he should be able to get through. Just a QW to start things off. His bullet time is basically missed. What a kill coming in from Ryoma. Absolute deletion on Broken Blade. He did not expect that, and now TSM has to figure out how to assess this fight correctly. 100 Thieves looks to re-engage one more time. Dardoch going low as he safeguards back to Bjergsen, and the rest of TSM is going to get himself to safety, but it does not look like they are out of the woods just yet. Someday coming out of the woodwork, and he's going to get a few more for himself. Ryoma picks up kill number 2. That's a kill coming in for Cody's son, and now Biofrost is going to have to walk himself home alone, as now 100 Thieves takes a bit of control over the game.
Ryoma striking back in this fight, coming around the edge there, catches Broken Blade, and Broken Blade wanted to get the flank off, but didn't fully commit to it. He actually kind of waffled on it.
And then eat around.
Yeah, he wasn't really committing to getting fully around behind the team. Then by the time he sees the fight breaking out, this is actually pretty uncoordinated. So, you know, watch Broken Blade on the bottom of your screen here. He's coming around here. Biofrost actually going to look to engage, but look how far away Broken Blade is at this point, right? Like, this gap right there is pretty large. So Broken Blade feels he has to go in. The ultimate from MF comes out. Ryoma right over the wall. Broken Blade incredibly squishy, just gets absolutely popped by a WRW and the Ignite coming out, or rather the Electrocute coming out. Then lands a great chain over onto Bjergsen, but this was just not the most coordinated engage. Biofrost needed to wait until Kennen was around all the way behind the pit, fully coming in behind them. Then you have them engaging from both sides, right? If Broken Blade is coming in with a flash ultimate on top of MF, while Rakan is coming in from the front, that is how you win that fight. Unfortunately, they kind of pulled the trigger a little bit too early. And Broken Blade not only goes down, but loses his flash. They lose the fight, they lose the dragon. So TSM missed execution after what was a fantastic first 20 minutes of the game. They are now down in gold.
Yeah, you lose your shotgun on the fight and you realize just what a front line means when the other team starts running at you with tanks. Oh my word. All right, so Meteos and Stunt feeling pretty good right now. Even though 1-0-1-2, they are on the front line and standing tall in front of TSM's team as Someday delivers the sword from the back line over their shoulders and then piles on through. They have a really great combo. And then Ryoma rather, is just off in the shadows, doing what he can. Really wasn't enough vision on that fight for TSM to know where he was coming from.
I mean, Ryoma, as we might have a fight here, I'll hold that.
In and out. They're looking for a proc there.
Yeah, that should be it. But so Ryoma has been a non-factor, right? He was down 20, 30 CS. He had gotten solo killed multiple times. He was sitting 0-3, right? Now he gets the shutdown off of Bjergsen, a big injection of gold, picks up a second kill in that fight. He's not much behind Bjergsen anymore, and that is how quickly things can change. Off of a great kill onto Broken Blade, takes down both the soul laners. He's only 400 gold behind what has felt like Bjergsen dominating him pretty much throughout the whole game.
Yep.
So a very, very costly mistake from TSM, and it's somewhat reminiscent of their play against FlyQuest, where they were playing out the early stages, albeit to a more dominant degree, but very, very well against FlyQuest. And then they have this kind of one mis-executed fight around Dragon that really cost them a lot. And you can see even, the jungle advantage. Meteos is up 2 levels, right? The amount of gold that you have from that experience is very, very big. And that is kind of extra value that is not actually displayed on the scoreboard.
A bit more of that aggression able to seep out 100 Thieves composition that they brought out of Champion Select. Broken Blade versus Someday on the map as Cody Sun and Dardoch go back and forth. Doesn't look like this will end in anyone going down just yet, but Biofrost actually gets caught going for a bit of a ward war. And now the fight around blue buff. Stunt does take the unleashed power coming in from Bjergsen, so that's a Syndra ultimate down, as it looks like Sentinel should go over to TSM. Ryoma trying to get his hands in the pie on that one. And they're just going to fight over wards here. This is 100 Thieves saying, we are way stronger than you. We can go ahead and clear wards. You're not going to take a full fight on us after Bjergsen's ult is down.
Yeah, exactly. Drop the ultimate there. Wanted to try to push back 100 Thieves and potentially kill off Stunt. Stunt with a quick stone plate, though, really did negate most of that damage. So still, with Broken Blade being pushed back, his ultimate force, with Bjergsen's ultimate down, TSM is not going to want to fight with those key cooldowns. Not available, so 100 Thieves was able to pressure, but due to how Syndra works, some good coordination, you pull out that blue buff, you can still secure that for Bjergsen, which is quite a big deal.
TSM continuing to try some new things. Broken Blade has done the Kennen top, but more just of an aggressive comp all around for them. Trying to engage on to the aggressive comp of 100 Thieves, and just really, who can do it better at this point?
Riv, I think I will tune in Mondays at 5 p.m. PSD for Monday Night League.
Heck yeah! That sounds like a good time. You know what's after that? Bud Light League Lounge.
Wow!
Yeah, it's a great tune-in.
That's true.
Don't miss it.
All right, back to the game. 25 minutes in. And really, it's just going to come down to execution at this point. Neither side, I think, has a monumental advantage. 100 Thieves are becoming more comfortable. TSM did kind of throw away the advantages that they have earned. Their one real edge still is the additional dragon, so they are closer to that soul point. This next dragon will be, I think, where we are going to see the contest come in. It's going to be down to TSM to really execute properly. You need to have Broken Blade coordinated with Biofrost, engaging from multiple angles at the same time to really kind of exploit the low mobility that Misfortune does have.
Going to be a double all engage here. One to the right side and one on top. Stunt's going to be fighting Broken Blade now back and forth as they quickly take down Meteos, one of the big guys of 100 Thieves. That's a lot of damage going over to Stunt, but now can 100 Thieves answer back? No, they cannot. They don't have time. They are able to take down the tank from the side of TSM, and it's 7-4 on the scoreboard now. TSM feels like it might be powerful enough to take down the Baron, or at least bait the fight for it.
Yeah, they want to go straight to Baron here, charging over that direction. 100 Thieves will be pushing down mid lane. They could look to try to contest, but no ultimate on Cody Sun, no ultimate on Someday would be very, very risky. 100 Thieves, though, going to try to prevent this a little bit. We'll see if Ryoma can get any big chunk.
They don't have a ton of damage to super burn it down. They do have the Kennen and the Zaya, which helps to get those auto attacks in. Kabe low, like you said. Not too much from Ryoma to tag onto and get a distortion in there, and they might be able to take down Someday. A nice Q, the heal back from Someday. Gets himself a kill along with Ryoma. Can he keep himself alive? Someday finally goes down to Broken Blade. There's another kill on the other side of the fight, and Cody's able to live on this one. Will he keep himself alive is the question. He stays down towards the bottom now. Meteos back into the fight. Rinse and repeat as the batting order comes back around. And Meteos is going to be in a dangerous pit of Baron, but it's not going to matter. Broken Blade goes down as the fight fizzles out, and this one's finally over.
100 Thieves hanging on there in the 3v5. They come out on top in the kills. That is 3 kills to just the 1 over on Someday. After that initial play, they're going to grab the Dragon for themselves here, and Someday took so much longer to take down than I think they were really expecting. The amount of self-healing he had was massive, as well as that Magma Mortius shield coming through. So the initial play, great for TSM. We can watch this one more time. TSM a little bit split, so 100 Thieves do move forward, but a great scatter of the week catches multiple members here from Bjergsen, and Meteos just gets absolutely exploded. Stunt trying to zone out Broken Blade on this side, but because they lost on the other side of the fight, they're able to move forward, knock him down. Is now a 5v3 situation where TSM think, okay, we've got this. But they know there's no ultimate on Kobbe. A good chunk out from Ryoma pushes Kobbe out of the fight. Now that Kobbe is not on Baron, you cannot finish Baron without your marksman player. So they look to turn, and we're going to have to pull out of that as a potential play was coming up on live. But it was all really about that initial chunk onto Kobbe, because without that marksman's damage, you can't actually just sit on the Baron and finish it quickly enough. So they had to turn. But they weren't able to actually get all of their members onto the same target at the same time to burst them down. So, Cody's son hanging around on the side, he's able to take down Kobbe, and the eventual fight, 100 Thieves come out on top. So they're now 2 dragons apiece. Both teams sitting very, very even, but a couple critical fights now have gone 100 Thieves' way.
Stopwatches now seem to be burned on the side of 100 Thieves. Any kind of trickery they were using to get away from Bjergsen's ultimate, or the initiations from Dardoch and Biofrost, now to the wayside here.
Yeah, the Zonia is going to be ready very soon, though, for Meteos. He actually has gold for it. He has all those components, so when he goes back, he'll have that Zonia's ready. Someday closing in on what is going to be a GA there, too, so he's not too far off. And those are going to be really big buys, for that potential team fight, because you're right, stopwatch, Zonias, that's so important when you are going for this AP Gragas. You really are reliant on that stasis to blow your whole combo, get people on you, pop the Zonias, buy time for your squad, and
do it again.
Look to do it again, yeah. So that's what they are trying to play for here.
He's honestly just a nice guy. You're just buying everybody a second round. I mean, that's exactly what you want from your friends.
Have a beer with the boys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Except he just drinks you under the table on this one. You don't want Meteos coming at you at this point. He looks pretty big, as well as that Oblivion Orb on, as you were saying before, so anybody that gets hit that is squishy is definitely going to feel that power. We've seen him taking chunks out of Kobbe's health just from the mid portion of the game. 2 minutes and 30 seconds on for that next Ocean, so top pressure for now.
And we're seeing how scared Kobbe has to actually be, right? He had to blow his ultimate there in mid lane, just with Ryoma popping Distortion forward, threatening the amount of damage that can come out on him. So I am expecting Kobbe to itemize a little bit more defensively, coming into this 4th item. Something like a Hex Drinker could really be quite helpful. It does feel like the amount of pressure on him has been very, very high from Ryoma, as well as Meteos. And, if you cannot position aggressively, if you are always under threat of kind of that one hit, especially against all this flat pen from Gragas, you need to get some Endar under your belt. You need to be able to kind of withstand that and position a little bit more aggressively, because they don't have that true traditional front line who's just going to stand ahead of you and kind of absorb everything. It's going to be down to individual play and being able to avoid as many skill shots as possible and consistently get out damage.
Sounds like he's got a tough job ahead of him.
He does.
Especially with Someday now charging in with a Guardian Angel on top of all that brute force he had before. You almost want to turn away from that. You don't want to waste too much ability on the Guardian Angel, because you want to be able to take someone out first and not just watch that guy come back to life.
It's so tough, though, when someone is this far ahead, right? He's level 17. He's so strong. So you want to say, all right, we can't spend all our time killing him off because he's just going to come right back. But if you try to ignore him, he'll just win the fight for the squad, right? So that is how he's able to kind of play from this position of power that he has earned for himself. And they are going to have to try to find a good way to deal with that. And I think largely it is just very dependent upon the engage from TSM. Can you get a good kick from Dardoch? Can you have that coordinated engage from Biofrost.
Ooh, yes you can. Meteos goes down fast. No chance to use the Zanya stasis. Stunt's gonna go down as the resonating strike follows through for Dardoch. The teleport's now coming in. They're gonna add more power towards that Baron pit. It looks like 100 Thieves is gonna be tested for the main objective.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go right to it. It is the exact same 3v5, the same 3 members from 100 Thieves that were able to thwart TSM last time, but this time TSM has way more cooldowns. They have flashes, they have ultimates. This should be an easy turn if they want to make it. Broken Blade is looking to try to get into a flank position here with his ulti.
He sees the Q from the side. Thundering Shuriken alerts Ryoma that Kennan's going to be over on that. Nice use of the Ocean Brush to keep himself safe. Bullet time over. TSM taking so much damage. Behind the Baron's going to do more damage with the spikes. And TSM's in there. Dardoch's able to grab Baron, and now they're trying to turn on 100 Thieves. Ryoma goes down first as they cook him up quick. That's a shutdown going in for Broken Blade. And TSM, it was chaotic, but they made it look easy.
Got very dicey there for a moment. Not sure how easy that was, but TSM.
Gotta build him up.
Yeah, they grab the Baron for themselves. They get out, they get a kill. So very successful series of plays for TSM. They needed a good pick. They needed a good engage. They were able to pull it off, and they are rewarded with the Baron. Thankfully for 100 Thieves, though, the timers were such that while TSM is on that reset, Cody's son, is able to run with Someday, and they grab their 3rd dragon. So they are now at soul point. So if they can withstand this Baron and not lose too much, they're still in a position where they could win this game off of a 4 Ocean Dragon game into Ocean Soul. Feels like Aatrox would be invincible.
It's going to be pretty scary when Someday gets that big. You have the Rabadon's coming up as well for Ioma. If 100 Thieves can work a little bit more of this fog of war they already have set up, TSM standing on wards. If Ioma can be in that situation for a quick 1-2 punch and then out, you will really start to realize the damage he has in his inventory. We haven't seen too much of that. It's been kind of TSM organizing these fights.
Yeah, it has been. And, Ryoma, because he is spending so much time looking for poke and kind of running around with the squad,
already.
He is actually falling behind quite a bit in farm, right? So you're dependent upon the kills then.
True.
Whereas Bjergsen is catching more sidewaves, picking up more additional farm. So Bjergsen is quite a bit ahead in that itemization. He does have the death cap, and he does have a void staff, so he is on a more aggressive build here too. Doesn't have that Banshee's Veil for himself, but if Bjergsen can really get a full combo off on one of these characters, we are seeing them just get deleted. If Meteos gets CC'd up and combo by Bjergsen, he will just die before he can even Zonius.
TSM in a great spot. That top minion squad is piling up for them as the ultimate behind the turret. The quickness comes in, and there goes 100 Thieves as the health bars start to get depleted. Meteos is going to go down as well as Kaveh is able to find the last feather and pluck it right out. They're onto the inhibitor turrets now, and what was 100 Thieves taking the mid game, TSM was able to turn it right back around and just be in 100 Thieves base immediately.
That is how you do it, Riv. TSM gonna look to push to end the game here. 5v2.
Jump onto Ryoma and the rest of the team. They're going to be able to take him out. Bjergsen picks up another kill, and that's Someday coming up from Resurrection. He gets to watch as the Nexus turrets go down, and then he will follow shortly after. That's going to be TSM picking up the last Nexus turret and the Nexus as they move themselves to 5-4.
A very back and forth game here between TSM and 100 Thieves, but great execution when it counted from TSM. Picking up those kills, getting the Baron, and executing what was their best coordinated team fight of the game in those final moments. That dive was picture perfect. Broken Blade coming from behind right as Biofrost engaged, perfectly coordinated, wiped 100 Thieves off the map, and never gave them that chance to get the 4th dragon in Ocean Soul.
The fights where 100 Thieves came back in, beautifully orchestrated, and I think we saw TSM kind of at the Baron fight when Kaveh was chunked out. We were seeing, as I said, a TSM of old. Bjergsen was in the side lane splishing, Broken Blade quickly pushing in the side lane, splitting, and when they got to those fights, you would expect an old TSM to